This is episode 6 of Give Me a Chance, and it is your host speaking, Vittoria. Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Give Me a Chance. Happy New Year and happy 2021. I hope this year is gonna be a little bit more predictable than 2020, and who knows, maybe you will get the chance to change your life. Our guest for today, Claudia, certainly managed to make a change in her life a few years ago. After going through a traumatic divorce, she realized that her talent lay in helping people getting through difficult periods, and that is how she got closer to coaching. But let's have Claudia tell us a little bit more about her story herself. Hi Claudia, welcome to Give Me a Chance. How are you doing?
I am great. Thanks for having me here on your podcast.
Yeah, sure thing. It's great to have you here, and it's lovely talking to you. I'm really looking forward to listening to your story. Hey, and how are you doing these days with quarantine and all?
Well, as we all know, basically all of Europe, right, just locked down and with lots of time on our hands. But then we have the beautiful technology of Zoom, and so we are connected. I feel like I'm in your living room.
Oh, you basically are. Yeah, indeed, that's really, really cool. But it must have been a really big switch of mindsets. I mean, for all of us. But from what I understood from your story when we talked before, you are a traveler and an explorer. So it must have been a really big switch for you to settle for something that is a little bit quieter in these months, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, this whole year for change, it's changing, big changes for all of us, I think. Maybe this year, I guess I should only talk for myself, but it taught me to go, my journeys, my adventures don't always need to be external. They also can be internal. So I feel like this year has taught me a lot. And despite all the hardships, I personally have grown so much. And so sometimes in order for this growth to happen, things have to calm down. And so the COVID and the pandemic and the lockdown really feel like has forced us to calm down and hear our inner voices, if we like it or not.
And how did you grow actually in this period in time? What did it mean to you?
I usually live in LA, and in the beginning of this year, I came for 1 week actually in March to see for my dad's birthday. And then this was when the first round of COVID happened. And obviously then I couldn't return because I was like, nobody knew what was going on. You know, nobody had any idea. So I decided to stay with my parents in order to support them. But I haven't lived in Germany forever and ever and ever. And so suddenly I find myself in my parents' house with my parents, and I'm being really almost triggered back into my childhood. It was quite something. And I was like, this is interesting. I'm really supposed to be here. And, I had planned, I'd close for 1 week with me, and I ended up staying 2.5 months.
Indeed, being constricted in such a situation might also bring changes with that, right? Did you start something new?
So aside from Permission to Bloom, which I made the website in March, actually, so the website is really new, and it became my pandemic project because I had the time and no distraction. And now I'm in the middle of doing sound recording, sound healing, meditation, short meditation clips. So now I'm learning a whole new thing. I just got a mixer and a beautiful microphone, and I have to learn a new software. But it's also cool. It's a little bit geeky, but I like, to learn and do new things. So why not use this time?
Hey, and Claudia, if we look indeed from a perspective a little bit further away at your life and the chances that you had in your life to make a change, when would you say that moment came for you?
I have been always and forever advertising photographer. I still am. I work in fashion and beauty and advertising. And then 4 years ago, I went through a very traumatic divorce. My entire belief system collapsed. All the things which I regarded as important, the way I felt my future would unfold, this plan we had created, it just fell all apart. But fast forward, having worked through the pain and the grief and the actual death of this old self, of this idea of I thought who I am. I thought, it's the biggest gift, because I got cracked open, so to say, my heart, my soul, my being. And I was allowed to rebirth myself and take all these pieces. And it's an enormous gift. I'm so grateful.
And indeed, that meant for you becoming indeed a different version from your previous self. What was your life like before your divorce happened?
It was actually quite fabulous. It was just a very different life. It was a structure within a marriage with maybe more, let's say, maybe more conventional. Mm-hmm. But it also was missing I was missing my spiritual self. But sometimes we get swept away by life. You're so in it, you don't even actually look up. You just go and do, because this is your past. You don't even question. Yeah. So I guess that's maybe what happened. But the universe then, I guess, had different plans for me. And I realized there's so much more to me than what this old structure was providing.
And the period in which you had to recover from the breakout of your belief system, how did you go about that?
I burned down. There's no sugarcoating. It was very tough. I sat in the dirt, in the mud of my own grief, so to say. I like to use this metaphor. But I'm also a very positive, uplifting, joyous person. It's my personality. So while I was working through this darkness, I could see what the gifts are actually within this in this burnout.
Yeah.
So I had kind of a phoenix rising moment.
Yeah. And indeed, what did you gain from the experience?
I gained myself back, a lot of self-consciousness, self-awareness, getting to know myself, learning that there's a lot of old constructs and stories we carry around, baggage we don't actually need, and it weighs us down. Yeah, and that we letting go. And actually the most powerful thing, I would say, is self-trust. Completely trust the journey we are on, that it will work out in a beautiful way.
And Claudia, indeed, for you, going through such a traumatic experience like a divorce was for you the chance to rediscover yourself and get back on track or on a new track, actually, because how did it happen that you managed to give back what you have learned to other people?
Yeah, so after I felt like I healed myself, and I'm probably still healing myself, I wanted to be of service and share what I have learned and help other women who go through similar experiences. And so I started Permission to Bloom coaching.
What is your coaching project about? What kind of people do you coach?
I think it's probably women which are similar to me, women who have an understanding of who they are, but maybe got, in the middle of their life, got sidetracked by, as I said earlier, not sidetracked or just, pushed into something lost. We all lose ourselves throughout this life. So, like family, marriages, relationships, careers. And then suddenly there's this point where this nagging feeling comes, and we know there's something more to us than what we actually living right now. And so I want to help women to live a more authentic life and help them be empowered and step into their full potential before they actually have to go where I maybe went, into the complete burn down.
And what kind of tools do you use to help people self-reflect on what is going on and maybe to take a step back and take action?
I think to begin, it's like learning more about who you are. And for instance, journaling, I think, is a very good, simple tool. We start a journaling habit because this happens so much in our everyday. And while we go through our day, we're not even processing it. Because it's a very somatic experience. It goes from our brain and our soul through our body, and we sort of let go that way. A big part of my healing, I think, was journaling for myself, and I wrote a lot of pages. And it's interesting when I come back to it and I look at some of what I wrote, and honestly, I cannot read it anymore. And it was just this anger I had to work through, but it's my journal, so it's so sacred. It does, it's how I process and how I work through through me and out with the writing. I let it go, whatever emotions I had to experience and move through. And it's a very beautiful process if you to start with that and make it this ritual, as I said earlier. But it doesn't need to be perfect. It's about just doing it. And even if it's just 5 minutes or 2 minutes, it's just about sitting down and really engaging with ourselves and be like, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm going to take time with myself. What maybe is very important, we can go and be with a coach or a therapist, but at the end, we are in charge. We are truly in charge of our own healing. And if we start small, and in this case, I said, journaling, it's about really just starting, and then we're on our way.
And Claudia, actually, if we even think about the way you started your own coaching, practicing, as a result of what you went through, so basically that you had the chance to change your life and therefore start on this new path. How would your life would have been in the event that you didn't go through this rough patch and you hadn't gone through a divorce?
Who knows? Maybe I wouldn't have gone through the divorce at that stage. Maybe I would have gone through it a few years later. I don't know. I mean, it happened. It had to happen. Universe was like, no, we have better plans, other plans, new plans for you. You need to go and be here and burn down and sit with yourself and learn, who you truly, truly are. It's very humbling, but at the same time, there's so much freedom in this, and it's so empowering. And that's why I want to really share what I've learned forward with others.
Yeah, it's actually a possibility to start your life all over again, actually, with a new consciousness and with new skills and with a new image of yourself as well. And Claudia, just to sum it up, what is your plan with your Permission to Bloom idea, and what is the vision behind that?
Well, so it's about working with women and give them truly the permission to bloom. I think we as women, I want to work with women because it's my story, it's a female story, and I think we still live in a very male-oriented world, and there is a lot of pressure from the outside. What we should do, what we shouldn't do. And I think to really step into our power means that we have to give ourselves the permission to bloom. And whatever that blooming means, we're all different flowers. or plants, and your blooming may look different to my blooming. But it's about knowing from the depths of our being that we are able to flower and bloom.
Many thanks for sharing your story, Claudia, and everything, and your truthful insights that you gave to us. Thank you, and
thank you.
It's been lovely talking to you.
It's been so lovely talking to you. Thank you so much.
You have just listened to Claudia's story. As you probably heard, Claudia got the possibility to change her life by starting Permission to Bloom after she went through a traumatic divorce. That had an impact on her, and actually by rebirthing and finding in herself the strength and the spirituality she needed, she got the chance to help other people getting through difficult periods and helping them with what she learned from this trajectory. With this, we come to the end of this episode. Have you ever had the chance to change your life, or do you know anybody who has? Please leave a comment here below and let us know. And if you enjoyed this episode, do not forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and see you next time. Give me a chance on your screen and in your ears.